Thanks for joining me again on TMI as we x-ray youth empowerment and security panacea for national development. You agree with me that this whole issue about insecurity is really causing a lot of nerves to go otherwise, and there is need for this whole insecurity to be brought to a halt. And the government, day in, day out, year in, year out, roll out plans to tackle this. We have the issue of insurgency in the northeast, banditry in the northwest, and all of a sudden we are having more of them, even as criminal headsmen. And one seems not to know where to turn towards for respite. Well, discussing this vital topic with me, starting from my extreme left, I have a motivational speaker, astute businessman, and he is the president and founder of Edo Progressive Indigenous Association, talking about the Chief Dr. Bishop John Omogiade Edokpolo. Thanks for joining me, John.
Thank you for having me, Philip.
And next to him is cyber security specialist, and he is Edobo Uyosa Michael. Thanks for joining me, Michael.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, good to know that. I'll be starting with you, Michael. We have this whole issue of insecurity bedeviling the country, Nigeria, and we understand that one of the primary causes of this issue is poverty and lack of the adequate ability of governments to engage the youths. What do you make of this?
It is true. The truth is in our corridor already, which we already know already. You see, first of all, if you look at, we should not play sentiments with this. We can find out that the level of unemployment, poverty rate in Nigeria is not even going in an arithmetic sequence. It's going in a geometric sequence. And this is affecting the youth. And if you look at the bulk of the unemployed people lies within the youth. And these people are the most active people in the society. And when these people are kept idle, what do you want them to do? They will resort to negative vices. This is the problem we have in Nigeria. There's poor youth engagement. Graduate does not have jobs. People will graduate every year. A lot of graduates are being brought out of an institution. Where are they being employed? No. So what happens is that they now resort to their security. Remember, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. If a man is not engaged negatively or positively, it will be engaged negatively. That is the truth. So what do you expect them to do? So in this case, I think the major problem we're having is a problem of unemployment. And the right time we start looking at how to tackle this unemployment, it will be creating a lot of issues for us, even up to our security threats. A man who have not eaten, how do you expect him? Remember, they said there's a word which there's no patriot in hunger. A man who is hunger does not have patriotism, does not know the difference between right and wrong. All he sees is food. So when a man is hungry, what do you expect him to do? He can resort to anything to make sure that he's able to provide for his family and himself. That's the problem.
Okay. Chief John Omogade, you are the president and founder of Edo Progressive Indigenous Association, aka Edo Indigenous Movement Worldwide. Now, vis-a-vis this issue of insecurity and the need to place the youths in right positioning, looking at Edo State in particular and Nigeria in general, what do you think of this?
Well, thank you, Philip. I think the first step is to look at the root cause of all these problems. And I think that is what majority of our citizens are not looking into. It is very important to look at the root cause of every problem, primarily the insecurity issue. Now, there is a huge focus by the political elites. The primary cause has a lot to do with the political and ethnicity sentiment. Now, these sentiments has been persisting from day one, from the independence of our country. Let's not forget that what you sow is what you reap. It might take years to come, but these realities will come into place. Now, we are living in a country whereby we have three major ethnic groups that has been in the corridor of power from time immemorial, and we all are aware of it. And anytime each of the classified ethnic group, like which is made of the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Igbos, anytime each of anytime each of these ethnic groups are in the corridor of power, you'll find out that if the Igbos are in the corridor of power, there will be agitation from the north. If the Yorubas are in the corridor of power, there will be agitation from the east. Or if the northerners, the Hausa Fulanis are in corridor of power, there will be agitations
from the west,
from either the west or the south. You see, now, the other ethnic groups, which has the majority combined, has been used by these three major ethnic groups as a collateral damage throughout this whole process. And it is high time those ethnic groups...
So you see that in that direction, but well, that's your opinion anyway, because if push comes to shove, we look at the issues critically, and you see that there is no way you can say that other groups are not also having their way in governance.
No, they are having their ways in governance, in leadership. But we're talking about the decision makers. We're talking about the hardcore cause of this mess that we're currently in. The political elites. If you look at the corridors of powers from day one, like as I was telling you, you find out that the grip of the political structure in this society has been in the hands of the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Hausas. And this political power tussle has radiated over the years into the cause of all this insecurity. Because as this whole political sentiment or ethnicity sentiment begin to brew, don't forget we are giving birth to children who are reading wrong minutes to all these political sentiments. And as time goes on, they will begin to agitate, because when your father is talking about something that is sentimental and pro your ethnic group, you are learning from it. And as you are growing, coupled with the fact that you don't have a lot to work with, or you don't have a lot of access to employment, then you begin to, chances are your mind will begin to be captured into the wrong course of your own problem. And that is what we are currently seeing right now. Now, the government of the day, under normal circumstance, is supposed to be focused on seeing everybody as one.
Okay.
That is not the case.
I'm bringing about development.
Yes, I'm bringing about development. If that is the case, then 80 to 90% of the government focus will be on education, will be on employment, will be on providing basic infrastructure.
Healthcare.
Without sentiment. Now, if you look around now, the Yorubas are agitating for referendum, the Igbos are agitating for referendum, and the Hausas and the Fulanis are in corridor of power at the moment. And most of them, pockets of them, even in the northern part of the country, are also concerned about them hanging on to power. Power tussle is the problem. So now they are youths right now. Most of them are finding the Boko Haram insurgents uncomfortable, and they are running to the south. And in the process of them running to the south, some of them are committing havoc. For some of them are agitated that the sentimental or the religious or ethnic issues is the cause of their problem. And they descend all this anger in the lives of innocent people from the south. And the Southerners are now becoming victims of all this mess that these three major political major ethnic groups has caused. Now,
not just the Southerners, even the Northerners are still victims.
They are victims as well. Now, if you look clearly into what is going on right now, most especially all over the social media and our brothers and sisters in diaspora, you will find out that most of them are now beginning to get confused about where they belong with this whole agitation, most especially the Edo indigenous people. You see them at a point, Nnamdi Kalu were struck when he came up with his map about the Biafrans. Most Edo people were very concerned about whether or not they were part of Biafra. I'm always sending a clear message to the Edo people for them to understand that Edo Kingdom is one of the last regions to be amalgamated to Nigeria. And the genesis of Edo Kingdom has in no way to be compared with all these recent ethnic groups like the Yorubas, the Igbos, and the Hausa. We are the originators of traditions in this part of the world, and
in as much as you are trying to say that the Edo Kingdom or the people are unique, so also other tribes
are unique. They are unique
because there's no one tribe that is unique, more unique than the others.
What I'm saying in essence is that we're talking about the fact that all these other ethnic groups are trying to carve Edo into their agitations, into their map, and which is highly condemnable by Edo entities.
Okay, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you on that. But let's quickly follow what you just said concerning the number of youths that are really unemployed. Because reports have it that among the percentage of those that are unemployed, 80% of these are youths. And we can't forget quickly what transpired in October 2020 about the #EndSARS protest, which shows that the youths are the very dynamic part of the society, and this part of the society mustn't be joked with. Now, we also have the issues of the Almajiris, like what my brother also said concerning the Boko Haram sect. You understand that even most of the members of the Boko Haram sect and even the bandits used to be members of the Almajiris that seek for arms, beg for money. Now, we have the Almajiris all around us. Even some we reprimand why they are trying to clean our windscreens. Now, some are saying that this seems to be like a time bomb waiting to explode if the government is not looking into this direction. So what do you see as the long-term and short-term plan?
You see, like my brother was saying, first of all, you see, when you're looking at the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria, our problem is not ethnicity. Because if you take it down to our state, Edo State, you will see within the Edo State, there are still differences. The Benin man will tell you that he's more superior than the Isha man, than the Afro man. So how do you solve this problem? Even if Nigeria is even disintegrate into smaller fraction, within the information, if you go to the Benue, the T people will tell you that they are more superior than the others. So the ethnicity problem still lies within, even if you take it to the smaller fraction.
Okay, so which means you are saying that ethnic rivalry exists.
So ethnic rivalry exists. That's the truth. Even within, that's what I said, even within the Urobos, the Urobos will tell you that they are more superior than the Shikiri, that they are more superior than the Isoko people. So these are happening everywhere. So it's not just a question of even the people from the South who have been given powers, even people from the Niger Delta region have been given power at the national level. What has been their contribution to us? But now going back to what you just asked.
And that seems to be, before you get back there, that seems to be against the national struggle.
Yes.
Because if we talk about patriotism, we should first think ourselves as Nigerians.
As Nigerians first.
Before the tribal sentiments.
So the problem is that our institutions are bad. That's the problem. If we get our institutions right, we will not be looking at Ishaman, Ebinima, or Hausa man, or this. That will not be happening. So if our institutions are right, and now going back to this, you're talking about the Almajiris, people who have been the IDP camp, people who have been internally displaced. The first thing is that when you look at youth empowerment program, if you look at the first thing that happens, which is always on the public domain for us, is the economic empowerment, whereby you see some of these honorable members, they bring out, they give them sewing machines and all to empower. That is not just
skill acquisition.
That is not just all about empowerment. You see, when you are looking at empowerment, you look at it from various perspectives. There's psychological empowerment. There's community empowerment.
Really?
You know, there's a social and cultural empowerment. You see, first of all, somebody who is not sound, Pythagoras said, he said, man, know thyself. A man who does not understand himself, what happens to that man? That man can resort to anything. A lot of our youth are there. If you look at their own drugs, they're not even sane. It was only when you are fully okay psychologically and mentally, that is when you can realize yourself to the full potential. So what is happening to our psychological empowerment? Nothing is happening. Our cultural versus these days, people are breaking our traditions and norms. There's no cultural awareness of the people, so they understand that these things, you cannot do it. But these things, we don't look at this other aspect, we only look at the economic part of it. So I think on a note, we should look at not just only the economic part of employment, we should look at the community service, we should look at community empowerment, we should also look at the psychological empowerment of this individual, we should look at the social and cultural empowerment of this individual. So this together, collectively, will put our society in a better position.
Okay.
And like I said before, I said the majority, the problem we're having is that, you see, when I remember the words of Bertolt Brecht, a German man. He said, when an hungry man reaches to the book, he said it becomes a weapon. So when an hungry man
reaches to the book, B-O-K.
Yes, okay. It becomes what? It becomes a weapon. What is he saying is that when you have an educated man who is unemployed, a graduate who is son and unemployed, for over a long period of time, he is not being engaged by his government positively. What happens if he now decides to go and put himself into negative activities? What will happen? He will not very well. He has some levels, what call it, knowledge. So he will do it to the extreme. So that is the problem. So very soon we will be fighting with elites, graduates who are intelligent. They will be fighting the government because these people are not employed. That's why I say if you are not engaged positively, you will be engaged negatively. So most of the youth, these people are staying there. That's the reason why these people are involving in themselves into fraudulent activities in order to make a living for themselves. What do you expect them?
The get-rich-quick syndrome.
Yes, that's
being beaten by the bomb.
Is it their fault that they are Nigerians? No. It's not their fault. There's this popular saying that they say, oh, you have to contribute to your society. First of all, your society has to put things in place for you. Social welfare is my problem. That's not my thing to do. Social welfare is a government's responsibility. So these things are not there for the individuals. So they cannot strive. You cannot even do small-scale business because why? No electricity. You spend almost your money you generate as supposed to be profit for you. You spend electricity. How do you encourage small scale and medium enterprise? So these are problems.
Okay. There's a dictum which says that think not of what your country will do for you, but what you do for your country. I think that's what you that's what you are really looking about. But are you now saying that first your country should do something for you before you think of looking to do for your country?
When a child is born into the earth, he doesn't know what is happening. He grows in a society and see that, oh, that is the reason why do we go abroad? When we see, look at all the way everything is being put in place, we follow suit. Why? Because the system is already there. Our systems, our institutions are poor.
But if you first look at what your country will do for you, is that not, that seems not to be an act of patriotism.
Now, looking at what
you do first for your country, and then your country will do back to you.
Looking at what your country will do requires, first of all, the universal basic education.
Okay.
It is your country's responsibility.
Okay.
Now, good roads is not your job. It's the job of the government. Is it individual that do roads? No. Electricity, constant electricity supply is the job of the government, not individual. But when these things are put in place, you find out that these individuals, they can be able to strive. First of all, you must be able to strive. If you're not well nurtured, how will you go to strive? That's the problem.
I'll come back to you, but let's address this, Chief, because this whole issue about unemployment, like Edo State in particular and Nigeria in general, what do you see as a take-off point under the Obasanjo's administration for the indigenes of the state?
Yeah, before I get there, I just want to, comment on what my brother has just said.
Okay.
You see, on a normal circumstance, all these things are what is necessary for the leadership of the government to provide for the people. What he just commented on is the right thing to do. There's no doubt about it. Millions of Nigerians has been talking about exactly what he's talking about, that this is what they want. But the question is, why is it not happening?
Why is it not coming?
Who is now the decision maker?
What's stopping it?
That is stopping this, which is what we have to look at. I started by saying the root cause.
Yeah.
Edo, where the Benin adage say, before you kill a tree, you must kill it from the root.
Oh, yeah.
Which are the decision maker? Decision is responsible for making or breaking anything, both human being, country, or anywhere, any object. It's decision. Now, how do we influence this decision? Under normal circumstance, a true society that is ready for development or that means well for its people has to have the right justice system. And the decision must be made from the leadership of the country, which is the president. We operate a presidential system. Now, the question is that president making such decisions? The answer is no. The answer is no. Why is he not making such?
Well, you can't generalize. Listen, you can't generalize. I think that's your opinion, because you can't say that the answer is no.
My result.
Because it's just about what you are saying.
It's not about my opinion. Forget about political sentiment.
It's true.
It's not about my opinion. We're talking about the results. Result, you are there. What this man was analyzing is what millions of Nigerians are subscribing to. But what I'm saying in essence, pay me attention. What I'm saying.
But don't forget that we've had various administrations
that
still had this challenge. So it's not unique
to the Muhammadu Buhari's government
and
political sentiment.
Okay,
I'm narrowing it back to that on an elaboration.
Okay.
What I am saying is that yes, the president alone cannot perform a miracle. But the president can make a decision that can affect the enforcement of the legal system. The primary problem we have in this country is lack of enforcement.
When you talk about decisions, or even the president is making those decisions.
No, well,
the aspect of even saying that the judiciary granting autonomy to the judiciary, is that not a decision?
You can be making a decision that is dead on arrival, that is not being enforced, and actions are not being followed to make sure it's enforced. I'm talking about enforcement, sir. Okay. Now, you have to understand that the primary problem, let's come to reality. The primary problem of the country is lack of enforcement of consequences of crime. That is it. Yes. If you like, you analyze it from A to Z, north to west. That is the reality of it. Now, why is the Western world better than us in terms of development? It's simply because when you commit a crime and you are caught for it, justice must prevail. And
they have a system that works.
They don't joke with it. The enforcement part of them, not that they don't have their shortcomings. They have their shortcomings. Not that they totally have a system that works. Because that system is also broken down too.
Okay.
But what, yes, they have, you and I have seen America under Donald Trump. You saw what happened and a lot of things that transpired that is not ordinarily supposed to be imagined by an average citizen that America can orchestrate. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that the enforcement of our legal justice here is less than 10%. And that sector, until that sector is fixed, we will continue to turn around the tunnel.
So what's stopping it from being fixed?
This is where the decision, this is where the ethnicity sentiment that I spoke about comes in. If the president is Hausa Fulani today, or is a Fulani man today, if an average Fulani person commits a crime,
well, let's not go there because the essence of this program is not to flog
I understand that. Okay, let's break it down. Let's break it down. So what I'm trying to tell you is that obviously we all know, we can't deny it, that ethnicity sentiment is the order of the day when we are in the corridor of leadership. There's no doubt. And second, to be seconded by political sentiment.
He spoke about skill acquisition. I'll come back to you, but let him finish on this point. Yes. He spoke about skill acquisition because we keep on hearing day in, day out about governments, rolling out schemes, bringing youths on board to learn one skill or the other, one technical training or the other. And yet we still have massive unemployment.
Well, you have to understand, I was on a debate with a gentleman in England, a professor in England, with regards to whether or not there is employment disaster, unemployment disaster in our state. I think a lot of people are getting this very twisted when they say that there is no job in Edo. I'm not giving the governor all the credit in the world because we have our ratings for
the state is not an industrialized state.
No, hold on. I'm coming to that. Okay. I want to make it clear because when you're talking about the government, political minutes can be read to it.
Okay.
There are areas where this governor is doing very well, and there are areas where he's not doing well, in my opinion, from our assessment.
Okay.
But what I'm telling you, I want to talk about the area where he's doing well. Obviously, the governor of the state has deemed it fit to introduce what we call a dojo. Has introduced some employment programs, which is a welcome development.
Which has elements of transparency.
Yes. I'm an employer of labor. I have benefited, a lot of the youth has benefited from that program through me, and I have also benefited because it was an easy access that was created by the governor. But my point here,
when you say you also benefited because it was an easy access, how did you benefit?
No, because I contacted them. We have a director assistant to reach as a company.
Okay, not by interpersonal relationship.
No, it's made open. They reach out to companies that if you need staffs, you contact a dojo. They advertise themselves. It's open. It's a welcome development. So that template is a welcome development. But what I'm saying in essence is this, that people have a lot of, most especially our people in diaspora. Like I said, I was speaking to a professor on an interview, and he is of the opinion that there is no job in Edo. That is not right. And people who are talking about the fact that there is no job in Edo are very wrong. And I will tell you why I said that they are very wrong, because this is a very sensitive topic. Now, it's not that there is no job in Edo that is the problem. There is job in Edo. The question is the pay enough to attract the youth to work?
That's the bottom line.
Listen, sir. You know, English is a very difficult language. Okay. People don't understand that. When you make an utterance to say there's no job, I will observe you by saying, no, if you follow, take Country Home Road to Saple Road, look at signs of somebody wanted in different sectors. There are more than 60 to 100, which means those jobs are actually available.
Yes,
but the question is, listen, the question is, are the salary juicy enough to attract these people to get into that industry? Now that
does it even get up to the minimum wage?
No, it's not.
The national minimum wage.
That's not. I want you to understand my point, which are root cause. I'm looking at the root cause. Don't just say there is no job. Then people will read wrong meanings to it, and people will get turned off that there is no job at all.
Okay.
Now the point is there is job, but the pay is not juicy. That is where we need the government assistance. See, when you're coming to the government or you're coming to a reasonable leadership, you make them to understand that, hey, there is job, but the salary is not juicy enough. But what to attract Edo people? You and I know that Edo indigenes are people who are very, very civilized and are very, very wild with their kind of luxury lifestyle.
And also very, very peace-loving.
Yeah, they are peace-loving people. So they are luxury people. They like to live very comfortably. Nobody can take it away from an average Edo person anywhere in the world. But what I'm saying is that we have a governor. Who the people, when the people are speaking to our government, now we're narrowing to the state now. When you're speaking to our government, you should make them to understand that, hey, you are creating this platform. It's a welcome development and it's a good thing. But the salary structure that they are offering is not juicy enough. That's why these guys are not getting in. So what we need you to do is to help subsidize, support these companies.
The entrepreneurs.
Yes, support them.
So that their business can survive.
By saying, for instance,
and improve on the salary.
For instance, if a staff is paid 25 or 30,000, for instance, which is the minimum wage, or there about 35 or whatever it is.
30,000 naira.
30,000 naira, which is the minimum wage. The government will say, okay, I will add 10,000 to it and set a budget aside for that. That will attract at least about 20% of those indigenous youth that have not, that doesn't see those salary as juicy enough for them to get involved in the employment scheme. So the bottom line here is, when we're talking about unemployment as cause or as part of the root cause of insecurity, yes, it is a part of the cause of insecurity, but the type of insecurity we are facing now, this other unemployment insecurity, is a baby one. It's a baby type. It's a baby type compared with the type of insecurity that is currently ravaging the society right now, and that is what we need to look at.
Thank you very much, Chief. I'll come back to you on that. Now, we have this whole issue of insecurity, and even within the cyberspace. There is also insecurity.
Yes.
You are a cybersecurity specialist.
Yes.
Now, he just made mention of the fact that the salaries that come, it's not as if the people, he gave an example in Edo State, that it's not as if there are no jobs, but what they get in return for the jobs they do, you know, is far, far too small. And now a lot of people, a lot of youths seem to narrow down on what comes quickly, how to get money quickly, you know, which is pervading the society. How can government address this issue? Because the cyber security is a challenge. So what do you make of this?
Yeah, it's true. If you look at the cyberspace, like he said, what he said was actually on track. You see, it would be totally wrong to say there's no job. But people can also, you know, it is subjective. People can also look at it from the various perspectives. Because somebody who is with a master's degree holder, you cannot expect such a person to go and pick up 15,000 naira job or 20,000 job. How will he feed his family? So it's downgraded, and on a very good day, such person, that can, anybody that even employs such person with such kind of qualification is supposed to be even be sanctioned, Because
really?
yes,
but life should start from somewhere.
That is unemployment.
Is it wrong if life starts from somewhere? Because if you look at those who have made it, who are now top in what they do, they will tell you what they went through.
It is. You see, that's I said.
So is it wrong if you start from a humble point?
You see, it is not just about starting from a humble point. At what point are you starting from? There's some point that you cannot just start from.
Okay.
You cannot expect somebody. You cannot expect somebody who has a master's degree to go and be working for 15,000 naira. It is downgrading.
It doesn't meet up the minimum.
Yes, it affects his psychology. It doesn't work like that. So he has read. Those are jobs for ND holders, for SSC holders. So he cannot be giving a graduate such kind of a job. Like he said, the government has to come into to improvise and also assist, so that these salaries can also have some little bit of attraction.
Okay, in such a case where such a graduate does not have that opportunity.
Yeah. Now,
what do you think should be done to engage such a graduate?
You see, that's the reason why I say, you see, looking at the cyberspace, let's come to our cyberspace now. Now, you see, a lot of young individuals have resorted to go into cyber crimes because this is like a shortcut to, we'll call it wealth or we'll call it money. But if you look at it, why do these people engage into it? But the fact that they engage into it doesn't mean that it is right. But why do they engage into it? You will see that after graduating for a long period of time, these persons, they have social pressures. They have seen some of their friends who probably didn't even do well as the way they did while in university. These persons are making money and are doing this. And these guys are intelligent. So what happens is that they look into those aspects and they start making money for themselves. But now, if you are even looking at trying to even combat these people that are involved in cybercrime, you don't do it just the way the government is doing. No. There are better ways to do it. Okay. Do you understand? If you have people, you think, first of all, it is very, very difficult to scam somebody of his money. So which means that it involves intelligence. So which means that that person is an intelligent person. When the government can bring it to this, okay, you guys are good at these things. Now let us see how we can transform this. Okay. Yeah? Let's create what we call it a business for people, an online business for people.
Being that you have
some of these persons are good in coding. Yes, some people are good in coding. Some people are good in, so they can produce apps, games app, and different levels. So people can work and build websites. Do you understand? A lot of engagement that you can do within the cyberspace, which government can actually encourage people to do.
That are legitimate.
They are legitimate, and in doing these things, you create what calls stricter measures to inhibit them from going to this cybercrime. How do you do these things? You implement laws. In 2015 Cyber Act, if you look at this, there are a lot of laws there. If you look at this, there are a lot of efficient laws which are there, but implementation has always been a problem. Yeah. There's no enforcement. So government also have to think about how they're going to bring what forensic intelligence, using scientific method to combat legal issues. Okay. So they have to also bring that into check and look at it, and also try to increase reduce the number of unemployed graduates in society. If this is not reduced, it's going to affect. There's no way you are going to preach. Even in the most developed nations in the world, there's still insecurity there. Cyber crime is still going on. Imagine a place like the United States of America, as developed as this country is, cyber crime is still going on. Talk less of Nigeria, whereby the level of unemployment, poverty level is really on the high. What do you expect of those people? So these are the issues. So I think, on my own recommendation, I think first of all, the government have to engage these people. You have to engage them. There are a lot of numerous scheme and programs which these people can engage online and be making legitimate money. While you are doing that, you are creating stricter measures to stop these people from involving themselves in this and create what we call it cybercrime awareness. There should be awareness on our TV station every day. There should be awareness on the billboard and everything, so to tell them the need. And again, we also go back to parenting, our homes. Our parents also have jobs to do for us. So you see, the way you talk to your children, the way you bring up, so parents, they don't even know where your children sleeps. As young as 16 years old, they don't sleep at home. Their parents don't care. All they are after is that these people that are doing well, they are okay. So these are problems, these are issues. So it's not just only issue for government. Our parents also have a role to play. And going back again, you are talking about, okay, even if the government wants to even empower these people, that's why I said the kind of empowerment they do, I don't really understand it. This thing will not change the situation of unemployment. You are empowering somebody whom you have not done what call it development. Before you do youth empowerment, you have to also know that there's something called youth development. You must develop these people first, so that they can be able to sustain whatever you have empowered them with. Okay. So if they have not developed, they cannot be able. That's why it's just like giving money to somebody who does not have skill, who does not have knowledge of the business. What will happen? He will spend the money.
Thank you, sir, for taking our time to be part of this. I take that as a conclusion. What are your final words on this?
Well, my final words on this is that people who are in diaspora, indigenous who are in diaspora, and anywhere in the state, we want to advise them that the idea of them getting worried about the part of the region that they want to slate themselves into, that those type of worries should, they should let not their heart be troubled about that. They should not be focused on that. They should focus on the current development that is going on in Edo State in the private sector.
You seem to be localizing this,
but
of course. It's not just restricted to
no.
Edo State.
I'm saying that because I have to talk about me before I talk about the rest.
All right.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that primarily, because this is a problem, it's a classified problem, and I'm addressing that. And I want the people to know that the idea of them worrying about Nigeria going to war or at the brink of war or agitations here and there,
that would happen.
That shouldn't be their problem. Obviously, when the dust is clear, the Edo people will determine where they belong. But in the interim, I will tell you that Edo State, as it stands now, is one of the largest, one of the most developing state in this country, in Nigeria, when it comes to private sector construction. Our people should focus on that. And since during this pandemic, we have seen a lot of Edo indigenous people from diaspora who has been doing some deep thinking about their investing in Edo State. Usually they invest in other part, but they have been investing in Edo State, and that private sector is doing fundamentally very well at the moment. And we want to encourage all of them. But again,
to also meet up with the national minimum wage.
Yes.
When paying wages, because it's one thing to invest, it's another to really encourage.
These people in diaspora that I'm talking about, my brother, they have their own job creation that they are creating. If somebody is constructing a building right now, he needs to employ labor. He needs to employ an engineer. He needs to employ an architect. So I am addressing these people. These are providers of employment. This is an industry of its own. And it's very important that they know if they are scared of investing, don't forget that the exchange rate right now is very high. So the funds that they have in the West is good for us here. So we need them to bring it here to cushion the unemployment rate in our society. So I'm speaking to them wherever you are in the world. Edo is a safe place. It's one of the safest places in Nigeria. And I want all of you not to be scared about war issue, not to be concerned about agitations from northeast or the three sectors.
Please, on the last note, I want to also use this opportunity to thank the Edo State government. Prior to the National Sport Festival, I and some of my friends, we sent a letter to the Edo State government regarding this insecurity issue. We wrote a proposal telling them about the insecurity in the state and possible way we think can curb this insecurity. So we sent the letter and we got an acknowledgement from the Edo State government. So we had a meeting with the Edo State government, and they also promised us that after the Edo State Sports Festival, they are going to call us back again. So we want to urge them so that they call us back so that we can discuss more on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Edobo, Michael, and big thanks, Chief Dr. Bishop Omogiade John Edobolo, for taking our time to be part of this show. This is what we call it a wrap on this segment, but don't you go away, it's still TMI.